Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of The Place I Belong by Nancy Herkness, performed by Shannon McManus. Chapter 1. "We have an emergency patient, gunshot wound," the receptionist said, sticking her head into Hannah's office. Jumping up from her new desk, Hannah yanked her long blonde hair back into a tight ponytail. She grabbed her wrinkled lab coat from the chair where she'd tossed it 10 minutes before, barely catching the stethoscope that slipped out of the pocket. "How bad?" she asked, starting for the door. "The dog limped in under his own steam, but there's a lot of blood on the floor," Estelle said, a German shepherd named Trace. Relief loosened the knot of concern in Hannah's chest. If the dog was walking, the wound shouldn't be too severe. "Ask Heidi to prep for surgery, just in case," she said, as she strode down the hallway, her sneakers silent on the blue tile floor. "Got it. He's in room 4. His owner's Adam Bosch." Estelle continued on toward the back of the hospital, where the veterinary technicians were working. Hannah tried to remember where she'd heard that name before as she eased open the examining room door. For a moment, she saw nothing but what seemed like a deep shadow in the center of the brightly lit room. Then the man raised his head, and she fell into eyes so dark it was difficult to find the brown in them. She realized he was bent over a large black dog lying on the examining table. Because his hair and the dog's were nearly identical in color, and Adam Bosch wore a black shirt, the two had merged into one lightless shape. "Hello, Mr. Bosch. I'm Dr. Linden." "Where's Dr. Tim?" Adam asked, the slashes of his brows drawing down into a frown. "Out of town," Hannah said, moving to the dog. She'd been at the veterinary hospital for only 2 months, so people were still surprised not to find Dr. Tim Arbuckle there. He'd hired her because he wanted to travel the world with his art dealer wife, and Hannah had been grateful to get the job. "I understand Trace may have been shot." Adam gave a curt nod. "I found him lying on the back porch, with blood on his fur and on the floor. The only thing I could think of was a hunter mistook him for a bear and shot at him." The tendons in Adam's neck stood out. He was obviously struggling to keep his fear for his dog's life under control. Hannah was a sucker for someone who genuinely cared about their animal, and she found herself warming to the man. As she reached toward Trace, his owner straightened, although he kept his hands on the shepherd's head and flank. Hannah noticed several scars on his fingers.
"Sample complete. Ready to continue?"